Spirit is such an immaculate provider. And one of the beautiful things, like just like I was saying, is like it's like the capacity to not take things so seriously. Like that's one of the greatest gifts. It's just the ability to have more fun in life, because there is a natural lightness of your being. There's a natural harmony. There's a natural unfolding of your being, and it doesn't conform to like these arbitrary standards. It doesn't matter like how other people perceive you. It doesn't matter how fastidious you are, I guess. It's like you're just open, you're just receptive. You're just willing to let go when you feel compelled to let go. You're just willing to follow that intuitive guidance. It doesn't necessarily matter what your path is, as long as you're just willing to follow that guidance, however, whatever form guidance comes in. And and in the infinite wisdom of the Spirit, maybe your guidance comes to you in clickbaity videos with loud capital letter titles and someone like mean mugging you on the thumbnail, telling you that what you need to do, or else hey, if that's where your guidance comes from, that's where your guidance comes from. Spirit comes through all forms. So I don't want to rule that out, but I just find like the more that I settle into myself, and I think just the more that anybody settles into their own spirit, you're just going to find more peace. You're going to find more tranquility. You're not going to be so frantic. You're not going to be running around like a headless chicken, or like, swinging from tree to tree like this wild ape or anything. Like you're not going to be jumping from one thought to the other so much. Swinging from tree to tree in the mind. It's like things start to settle in. Things start to quiet down. There's, the beautiful thing that I find, and, maybe you found this too. There's this soft, subtle vibrancy to your own being. And it's so spontaneous and so free that, you just rest in this for a little while. And all of a sudden, creative inspirations are coming to life. Intuitive guidance is coming right out of the ether. Love is just filling you up. And exuberance also. And the capacity and the desire to dance and to write poetry and to just share love and beauty with everybody and anyone who would listen. It just kind of rises up from inside of you. And it's this is the beautiful, amazing thing about all this, is that this exuberance and this joy and this, like, it's almost like a passion. It's like a passion for life. It's like a soft, subtle, exuberant passion for life that it just rises out of this total emptiness, this total like surrender. And sometimes we might think that the two would conflict with each other. Like if you want to be like exuberant and dynamic, you have to like be all charged up all the time. And I found that it's not really that way. It's like the rest and the quiet moments of introspection really flourish. They really flourish. It's just like the hibernation of the winter suddenly blooming into the new growth of spring. It's like it just announces itself at the most spontaneous moment. You can't really predict it. There have been so many times where I've just been resting in meditation, not entertaining a single thought, not pushing thoughts away, but not following them either. Just kind of resting in that, maybe that non-dual kind of space, that just awareness, just being awareness, letting everything come and go. And then just out of that seeming nothingness, all of a sudden I'm feeling light, I'm feeling good, I want to dance, I want to create art, I suddenly have a solution to that problem I was working through, or I suddenly have energy to do all these things that I felt I didn't have energy to do before. And it's just like your life just shifts, and every time that you make yourself available to this energy, to this spirit, to this being that essentially you always have been and always are and always will be. Your life shifts in miraculous ways whenever you make yourself available. I kind of, I think I coined a new phrase today, or made up a new word. That's surrenderidity. Like serenity and surrender. Surrenderidity. I don't know if that one will catch on or not, but it's just kind of like that, you know. Sometimes we think like surrendering, it's such like a sharp word, you know. It's like, I don't want to surrender, you know. But it's like you're not surrendering to someone else. You're not surrendering to an enemy. You're just allowing for life to move through you unimpeded, to fill you up from inside, and to nourish you in a way that busyness and your maybe your more clickbaity kind of thoughts really can't do, you know. Because we got, you know, you don't just find clickbait on YouTube or on Facebook. You find it in your own mind too. You know, that's where the stuff on YouTube comes from. You know, so it's just one of those things. You know, it's like the beauty of life is it's available to you at all times. You just have to make yourself available to that, and you know, and if it, and just like learn, and just maybe remembering what it's like to do that. I think we all know what it's like on some level, but sometimes we don't dare allow ourselves to, because now we're grown up, and it's not responsible, quote unquote, to relax. It's not responsible to let go. It's, you got to hold on and build and aspire and do, and and a lot of time when we get to a certain point, we realize that, you know, these things that we do in the dynamic of the external world, they're really not that satisfying without this solid foundation in the spirit. And a lot of the time why we're afraid to go into that spirit is because so many of our external aspirations just can fall away. Because it's not that the spirit's taking anything away from you. It's just revealing that, you know, maybe the things that we get up to sometimes are just not that holistic, not that sustainable. They were being built upon like a shaky foundation that was destined to fall at some point in time. So, you know, is that necessarily a bad thing? This miraculous power of your own being comes in and cleans up your house, takes out the trash, you know, that's not necessarily a bad thing, is it? I wouldn't say it is at all. You know, I think that's exactly what we want. It's just sometimes we can project, you know. Like we can take a really stinky, kind of trashy thing and like glorify it. So, you know, like this restlessness and this need to do, and I have to be the best I can be, and I'm not keeping up with the Joneses, and these kind of ideas, and a lot of time, you know, you surrender to this spirit, you surrender to this deeper presence, and a lot of that just gets cleaned up, gets dissolved. You know, you don't need to try so hard for a lesser thing. Basically, I think that's really just like maybe that's like the little kernel of truth in this message, is that you really don't have to try so hard. Like, if you trust in the spirit, it will clean your life up for you. And it's like you're doing it, but at the same time, you're allowing this greater presence to work through you. And you soften that distinction, you soften that separation between you and this greater power. So it's not as if you were simply a magician or a wizard or something who's granted access to this magic. It's like you become the magicality itself. You remember that you've always been the magicality, and that the belief that you were bound, or that you were powerless, or that you any number of limiting things was really you. It is you using your own magic. You are casting a spell upon yourself for whatever reasons, and we could get into that. That's a whole nother series of videos we could talk about why we cast these spells against ourselves and why we doubt ourselves. But essentially, surrendering to the Spirit is simply about remembering who you are. It's about reclaiming your power. And it's almost like you surrender your free will and you gain the freedom of the cosmic being. Because who's freer than the universal self? Who's more magical than the universal alchemist? The one that's not just an alchemist or not just a spiritual seeker, but is the spirit itself, is the alchemy itself, is the magicality itself. Your body is just a part of it. Your person is just a part of it. You are the unfolding of these energies as they move through your physical vessel, as well as the physical vessel, which is just energy in maybe a more dense form. It's still a vibration. It's still a note in the cosmic symphony. It's still a motion. It's still a movement. So, like, what more needs to be said? What more needs to be said? It's like, it's time for you to dance. It's time for you to allow this energy. It's time to do that thing that you do and only you can do. Because it's just time to be timeless.